Goblins, ghouls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to the Goop Gob Show. Introducing today SynderWitchVT. So, this is an offensive question to some people, but I mean this in the purest way possible. What are you?
What the? What?
Yeah, what are you? You are a bone witch, as far as I'm aware, but are you human, elf, half elf, something else?
So technically, in the most technical, scientifically accurate terms, I am human. However, I am so magically altered that my DNA is not quite human anymore.
I know.
But,
I know a thing or two of having magic change your entire being.
but I'm not specifically of any like Fey origin.
So, if you're not of a Fey origin, how did you start your magic journey?
So I know a lady's never supposed to tell anybody her age, but I'm an old hag, in the kindest sense of...
I'm sorry, can we pause there for 1 second? You're a hag?
It's a... It's just a phrase, not actually a hag.
No, I'm just saying, hags are in right now. You'll be very popular with the hag maxing crowd.
Oh my goodness. But, I'm almost 450 years old.
That's pretty old.
Exactly. But you'd never be able to tell.
I certainly can.
Chat is being so mean. They're like, what is this slander? Calling yourself a hag is not the nicest way. The fuck?
But, okay, so you are a hag in terms of age, correct?
Yes.
But not a hag in terms of witches.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
I do understand what you mean. I've met a couple of magic hags in my day, and all of them were very nasty to me.
Oh.
They tried...
not very nasty, so...
Yeah, they tried to take my bones.
I mean, I would also attempt to take your bones, but,
I'm sorry, I can't give you the ones that I do have.
But why can't I have the skull?
It doesn't come out.
I'll make it magically come out.
No, I'm sorry. There's only one bone that I can give you, and it's not the skull. So moving forward.
Okay.
So you are a bone witch. What is a bone witch?
So it's essentially like, it's just a classification. So I'm sure that you've heard of things like, more specifically like kitchen witches or hedge witches. It's just kind of like that's the kind of magic that I chose to study. I technically have studied like several hundred different varieties of magic, but I've noticed that as a neurospicy individual, I tend to hyperfixate on things.
Mm-hmm.
So currently I have just been a little on the bones seem to be really cool and I want to learn what I can do with them magically speaking, and
Are you one of those witches that can roll the bones and tell the future?
I am not super great at reading the bones that way, but I do get hints and ideas of what's gonna happen, but I'm not super great at reading them yet. Soothsaying is not simple.
Oh, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly.
So, as a bone witch, you have power over bones, and you studied bone mancy. No, I believe it's called osteomancy.
I have very little knowledge in that department. Most of my magic is derived of natural things, so I'm more into the study of potion and spell conjuring while using bones as conduits. So a lot of the bones are ethically sourced, so I would rather source it from something that has already passed on from natural causes.
I am being told osteomancy is bone divination, so that would be what rolling the bones was.
Yeah, soothsaying.
Yeah. How do you ethically source bones?
So, like, I'm not going out of my way to kill things to get their bones. If I find it, when I have bones, it's usually things that, like, when I'm out strolling through the forest, it's things that have already died and started decaying, and I collect the bones. They've died of their own natural causes or survival of the fittest, to be using of simplest terms.
I see. So, so we've talked about what you are, but let's talk about why you are. What made you decide to both stream, be a PNG tuber, and on top of that, decided to be a bone witch?
Well, so the character Synder has been around for a really long time. I want to say that Synder has been a character for almost 10 years. I have been a huge writer for a really long time. So I have a vast collection of characters that I have written for, created art for, have art for, that honestly half the time just sit in a pretty little folder in my computer that I can occasionally go look at when I want to write and write about a character. But Synder, for some reason, has always stuck with me. I've always been magically inclined. I am a very spiritual individual, as is. So being able to get back into streaming and finding
Just
myself
my luck.
in the Vtuber community has been super nice because, one, it is far less, at least in my experience, problem inducing. I think that I've found myself with a lot of really nice people that aren't super problematic. Yes, sure, there have been a handful of problematic people. In what community do you not find problematic people? But I've realized that I've gotten to be a pretty good judge of character in terms of who to keep around and who not to keep around. That when people were like, oh yeah, did you know that like VTubing was a thing now? And I was like, what the hell is VTubing? And they were like, oh, it's like when you use a picture or a character as you instead of like yourself.
A type of persona to put out to the world.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, oh, you mean like what I've been doing for years?
Yeah.
Because even before VTubing was cool, I had a persona that I used on Twitch.
Well, I'm not going to dig too far into what you used to be. I'm more interested in who you are now.
Yeah.
So, you used to be, still are, a big writer. And can you tell me, that's one of your passions, right?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a passion. I think that I find myself writing when I am having an overall creative block. Writing just tends to be that thing that makes everything flow for me. So, like, usually, like, if I ever find myself struggling to have a conversation that I'm worried about having, or if I am struggling with anything, whether it's working on art because I have an event coming up, or trying to come up with something fun to do for stream, sometimes if I find myself struggling to come up with ideas, or struggling to think that, like, the effort that I'm putting into the things that I care about, then I just start writing. And sometimes it's in the form of stories of the characters that I have. Sometimes it's just me writing random things that make absolutely no sense to anybody but me.
So, writing is more of an outlet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So, you are Synder, the Bone Witch, a PNG tuber who likes writing, but if writing isn't one of your passions, what is something that is a passion of yours?
I love and hate this question all at the same time.
Dig in there, sort through those bones. Tell me, what is a passion of yours? You know, besides goblins.
Hey. Who says goblins are a passion of mine?
Well, you're here, aren't you?
I mean, shush your face, Goopy. What is the easiest way for me?
If you need a minute to think about that one, we can circle back around.
No, it's trying to put it into words, if that makes sense. So for me, a lot of it is trying not to, like, put myself down when I talk about my hobbies or my passions, because I am a really, really big, like, how do I explain it?
Is this capturing correctly?
The things that I really, really love, I tend to put myself down for them.
Oh, are they?
Because, like, I hold myself at a higher standard than I feel like I should. So, like, sometimes talking about them is hard because, like, my immediate response is like,
Is it something along the lines that you feel if someone else did it, you would look down at them for?
No, it's
but
more
it's something that you think would be ostracized, like someone who's really passionate about children's cartoons, even though they're an adult.
No, I think that it's that. Okay, so art is a really big passion of mine. Painting, drawing, sketching, huge thing. I am a huge artist. I sell at anime conventions every so often. I sell at local events regularly. But, like, I have a big problem with when I, like, walk around these events that I participate in. I, like, compare myself to them and put myself, like I don't know how I got into this, because like everybody else's art is like a billion times better than mine. Like, what were they thinking letting me into this event, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I know that that's not.
That is a completely. Yeah, that is a completely normal human psyche thing to have.
I hate it so much sometimes.
Yeah, I heard it can be very very difficult. What is the word I'm looking for? Stranger? No. Yeah, there is a specific term for it, where you feel that you don't belong in a community because you're not as good as you think everybody else is.
Well, I know that I suffer from imposter syndrome.
That might be what it is. That might be what it's called.
It's a great time.
Well, if it helps, you're the only bone witch that I know. No imposters there.
Let's go. Oh.
From the chat, Velixio would like to know, what is your favorite of the major spell schools?
Ooh.
Are you familiar with the major spell schools? I know you're not academically taught by a magic academy.
I am not. I am self-taught through my family.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a tragic story there, but I won't go too far into it.
Do you know the names of the schools, or would you like me to tell you?
I know some of them, but I think most of my favorite, like if I had to pick two, Conjuration is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Summoning magic.
Not a huge fan of necromancy. I also have your chat up so that I can see as well.
That is a couple of them, but there are more than a dozen different schools of
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
You seem to be having some difficulties with this one.
Because, so I've been alive for 450 years, essentially speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I've practiced a lot of different spell classes. So Conjuration is one of my favorite. Enchantment is another pretty big one that I use a lot.
Witches are big fans of enchantment magic.
I am. But I think my most used...
Wait a minute.
What?
I'm sorry, that just explains a lot to me. That you're such a big fan of enchantment magic.
What do you mean?
Well, you're just so enchanting.
Oh my goodness. But I want to say that my most used major spell school is probably illusionary magic.
Ah, okay.
Because, like, this is... If you were to have known me when I was a child, this is not anything similar to what I look like. Seeing as my base form is human, technically speaking.
Uh-huh.
Although I've altered it so many times that you could not tell. I've used illusion magic multiple times to completely change the way that I look and the way that my features lie.
Okay. So you mostly use it to just change how others see you.
Yeah.
Well, that is a form of magic. I know many, a majority amount of women use the same kind of magic. It's this weird thing called makeup. They do this makeup thing, and then they turn into completely different people.
Yeah. I don't really use makeup like that.
We have another question from the audience here. Sovereign Blade Kiss would like to know, what is your favorite kind of literature?
I'm a big fantasy novel kind of girl. You give me anything fantasy and I am likely to dive right the heck in.
Well, there are many levels of fantasy. What kind of fantasy level are we talking? Low fantasy, high fantasy, European fantasy?
I'm into kind of all of it. Like, fantasy in general, like, as a broad concept is my jam. Because, like, fantasy romance, high fantasy, like, all of it. Like, anything in that spectrum, it is highly likely that I am ready to dive right in.
Okay, that's good to know. So we've talked about some of your favorite magic, how you learned your magic, who you are, how you became what you are, but what we haven't talked about is your future. What do you want for yourself in the future as Synder the Bone Witch? What is your goal?
Well, I'm slowly working towards getting a live 2D and a 3D model. Mostly because, I don't know, watching some of my artist friends create and rig models and
Just
watching some of my favorite streamers who have like their 3D models or even live 2D models, and just watching them flow on the screen the way that they do, the way that yours flows on your screen. It's kind of entertaining and a little bit enchanting. You kind of get mesmerized by like watching their models just kind of flitter on screen as they're playing games or doing art or whatever they're doing on stream. And it's kind of cool to have that different level of interaction
with your audience,
character and your audience. Yeah. And I think one of my favorite things about the idea of getting like a 3D or a live 2D model is getting to have chat throw stuff at me.
Oh yes, the Twitch integrated throwing system, otherwise known as tits.
I love tits.
Yeah, yes, I love tits as well. Unfortunately,
wink wink.
I would wink, but both of my eyes are linked together, so it's difficult to do. See? Yeah, slightly off topic, but I have a camera, a desktop camera that is capturing me. I'm hoping to upgrade to the iPhone eventually, but that's a ways out. So until then, sorry everybody, you get eyes blinking at the same time. But so Synder, you're going for the live 2D model here in the future. Do you have any outlines for what you want it to look like? Can you give us a little sneak peek?
I don't have any of the art back from the artist that I'm currently working with to get the art for.
Oh, so it's currently in production.
Yeah, we've been playing around with some concepts and some ideas. Synder will generally look the same. But I think that some of her features are gonna change a little bit. Her hat's gonna be different. The bone tail that comes off of her hat will be a little different.
I did hear that the best and strongest magic casters have the biggest hats.
Shut your face. That's not always accurate. Thank you very much.
Is it different in which society?
It can be. I tend to wear, when I'm in a more obviously witchy aesthetic like I am now, I tend to just wear something that's a little on the, it's not screaming at you. Most people just like, when I'm out and about in an outfit like this, people are usually just kind of asking me like, oh my god, is there a Ren Fair or an event going on? And I'm like, yeah. Because not a lot of people are super wary of like the magical creatures and such around us.
Yeah, I know I do get a lot of looks, but I think that's mostly because I'm thick as fuck, but not, So,
Goopy.
Don't lie to me, I seen you looking at my hips.
Hey yo, chill.
So, when you do get the live 2D, you said you'd be making certain improvements. Would you be enhancing certain assets of yours?
I think yes. So I would like to be a little bit more on the curvaceous side of things, because as the person behind my model, I am more on the short, stocky side. And I've noticed that there's slowly becoming a more open community of like fuller figured models.
I feel like the full-figured curvaceous witch is a very popular design these days.
Yeah, but I just want to feel more authentically like myself.
Oh, so you're going to make it more true to life.
Yeah, like I'll still have like my purple hair and my elf ears will still be more a prominent feature, but like...
Well, what about goblin ears?
Goop, I love your goblin ears, but I think they're just a little bit too much for me.
Aw. Well,
I know.
Not everybody can handle the goblin ears. I know.
Exactly.
Especially mine, with how big they are. I mean, look at these things. Did you know goblin ears are a sign of their ranking in Goblin Society?
I had a hinkling.
The
So
big,
where does that leave you?
around the middle, I think. Like mine are slightly above average, I think.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the bigger the ear, the more important the goblin.
Oh my, oh my.
If you see any goblins with a notch taken out of their ear, that means they have done something very, very bad.
Do you have any notches out of your ears?
Do you see any?
Let me inspect the mirrors, Goop. Nope, I don't think I see any notches, just slimy drop residues.
And no one will ever know. So, let's see here. We talked about who, what, why, where you are. Where could we find you?
In my cottage in the forest in the middle of whatever realm I choose to be in.
I meant your socials. Where could we find you?
I have a Twitter account. Technically speaking, we're gonna hush the second Twitter. Hush, it doesn't exist. It's not directly linked on my Twitter account or anything.
I'm aware.
And currently outside of Twitch, that is the only place that you can find me. For those that go for it.
What if the people in chat or our viewers wanted to talk to you outside of stream?
Oh, I do have a Discord server that I hang out in regularly. I try to chat in there every day. It's also where I post like all of the things coming up for stream. And get an idea for what's to come. I like to bother Oh Boy in my server a lot.
Oh boy. He had just followed about 7 minutes ago.
I know.
Thank you, Oh Boy.
Oh Boy both followed you, and I got excited. I was like, "Yay, my boys!"
Oh yes, the boys.
The boys.
The boys.
Honestly, Oh Boy and Blade Kiss are two of my favorite people. Like between the two of them, they're not only super supportive and stuff, but like even when they're at work or they're busy doing things, they always make sure to pop by just to say hi and to be like, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great stream. Like,
they sound like good followers.
But like, I'm here. Oh Boy's like, gotta spread my influence.
Yes, like some kind of weird vampire.
But they're great people to be around. I feel, honestly, I don't think that I have a follower that I can't say that I absolutely adore. Okay.
You could try Sovereign. No promises.
Sovereign is so real with that, though.
So, I believe we've gone through most of the questions here, but do you have any questions of your own?
Honestly, I have absolutely no idea. I'm bad at like answering questions, but like also really bad at giving questions.
No, I understand it's not for everybody. People can be intimidated by the goop.
You are the least intimidating goblin I've ever met.
Hey, I take offense to that. I could be really intimidating.
As far as I'm aware, all I gotta do is tell you to de-acidify and then let me sit in the lap and you do it, so.
That's because I want you to. Hold on, let me... Come here. Look.
Why are you trying to get so big, Goopy?
I'm just moving closer to the camera for the size difference. Look, Like I could bring out the teeth. Yeah, I'm getting angry at you now. Isn't this scary?
Nope.
Well,
No, still not scary, Goop.
and there's teeth. Of course I have teeth. I'm a goblin.
Yeah, there's slime goblin. The cutest, squishiest slime goblin.
Of course. So, I think we'll just ask a couple more questions, just general things that people might want to know, like, what is your favorite hobby?
Art.
Art. What is your favorite video game?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I can't narrow it to a game, but I can narrow it to a game series.
That works.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
The entire series has been my entire life for such a long time.
It is my personal opinion that 3 kind of fell off.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm still enjoying it. I haven't finished 3 yet, which is
Telling.
yeah, no, it's not that. It was Oop, hold on. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, that should fix the problems on my side. Apparently you were starting to sound silly on my stream, so I had to reset it.
Well, that's nothing new. I always sound silly.
No, like robotic.
Oh no.
Crazy.
So, Sovereign says he's never played a Kingdom Hearts game. Can you give us a brief summary of the story of Kingdom Hearts?
Sovereign, how on God's green earth, on the earth that is this world, how have you never played a Kingdom Hearts game? A boy is gifted somebody else's heart and then goes through this world of Disney and Final Fantasy themed worlds, mostly Disney, but there are Final Fantasy characters involved, and he goes on this journey through worlds trying to save the worlds, going on adventures. That is the easiest, briefest description of that game series known to man.
I think I can get a little more brief than that. I think I can get a little more brief.
I've never played a Zelda game either, so...
Oh, well, I played a few, but I've never beat them. I never purchased any Zelda games outside of Breath of the Wild. No, that's okay. All that bone dust is probably choking you up.
Hey. Shush your face.
I'm afraid I can't do that. But Velixiel would like to know, if you can get any video game remade, what would it be?
Fuck. That's such a good question. Fuck. Really good question.
Yeah.
I honestly...
Do you want to come back to that one?
I honestly don't know, because the game that like my brain immediately goes to has already been remade or revamped. So I honestly couldn't tell you.
All right. We have 2 more questions here to wrap this up. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Stardust.
Stardust. What is that about?
A boy from a small village travels across a border that takes him into a magical realm to get a piece of a star that has fallen in order to win over the girl that he's been in love with since he was a kid.
It sounds like a less sad Bridge to Terabithia.
but on his trip to go find this fallen star, he ends up going on a crazy adventure where he ends up meeting sky pirates and witches that are not good, and good witches, finds his birth mother,
Ooh.
and then ends up actually finding true love before the end of the story. And it's just such a good, like, fantasy romance story that, like, there's enough action in it to keep, like, the boys interested, but enough romance in it to keep the girls interested.
Shout out to the boys.
Shout out to the boys.
Okay. Wow.
Wait, have you seen that movie?
You mean the show?
No, I'm talking about Altrius. Have you seen that movie? Do you know what movie I'm talking about? Do you know Captain Shakespeare? Most people, when people ask me what my favorite movie is, and I say that, nobody's ever heard of it before.
I know I haven't.
My whole heart, you should watch it because Captain Shakespeare is the best Robert De Niro character I've ever
Niro?
Yep.
Now that's something to see.
Exactly.
So,
oh my god, damn boy, kiss, let's
yeah.
go.
So, oh boy, wanted to know, do you have any art that you're proud of that you made?
Oh my god. Okay. So, I have one art piece that I am super ridiculously proud of. To this day, I am stupid ridiculously proud of it.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to show it on stream?
I do not have a picture of it right now. It is currently my storage unit. Otherwise, I would happily show it off. It's the topic of the piece is really fucked up, my personal opinion. But it's such like a near and dear piece to my heart, and I did it while I was in art school. So essentially, over the span of a semester, every class period we had to bring in a piece of something that we found. Some people brought in like broken toys that they found like walking their neighborhood that kids had abandoned, and some people would bring in like plastic bottles. A lot of my found objects towards the beginning of the semester didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. They were just kind of, I found this in my room, or my mom was trying to throw away some random inanimate object, and I was like, oh, that would be cool in like a found items art project. Little did I realize that as the semester progressed, that I started kind of coming up with a better idea of what I wanted my piece to be about. And it started getting difficult for me to put an idea with the items that I had. So I had to start kind of curating my things of like, this is what I want my piece to be about. I need to find things that I can correlate with different aspects of my theme. So like I ended up like finding empty bottles of like alcohol. I think I took a empty bottle from like somebody's knocked over like garbage can. There was just a perfectly like perfect.
Yeah, perfectly good like, garbage.
Bottle. Yeah, pretty much. But the bottle was undamaged, so I was like, that would be great. My mom was throwing away an old pill bottle, like an old prescription bottle. I took that. I knew that was going to happen. I was going through like my old makeup and getting rid of makeup that I don't use anymore.
Yeah. You're not doing that kind of magic anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I found a lot of really cool pieces that kind of fit. I think that there's a broken iPhone attached to it that like my sister broke her iPhone. And I was like, that's mine now, thanks.
So this art piece has actual monetary value.
Yeah. But essentially what the piece is, it's about SA so trigger warning.
Oh.
But essentially the piece kind of represents the different aspects about it. Usually that, from a female's perspective at least, that the perpetrator causing the harm is usually not thinking with their upper brain. They're usually thinking with the one in their pants. That there are a lot of ways that the people who deal with this trauma cope. Some people turn to pills and drugs, and that's the only way that they can function. Some people use makeup to cover up the scars and the bruises that are left behind by said trauma. A lot of the times, the people who are like the trauma is caused to, they're called liars. They're told that they don't, like, whatever happened, they're only trying to get attention. Sometimes the person that inflicts the trauma onto the person will try to apologize, and it's like essentially like breaking a plate and then telling the plate you said sorry. That doesn't fix the plate, but it still happened. And they'll try to give you presents and gifts to like try to fix the thing that they broke, but it doesn't work that way. It had one of those like $5 like women's like safety alarms that like you're supposed to push the button on it and it's supposed to make ridiculous amounts of noise.
Oh yeah.
To like alert people around you that you're in danger or whatever. But you know, like it's always we're asking for and stuff like that. So it was a really serious piece that I cried presenting it. I was not prepared for that. And my class was kind of like shocked, and like the guys that were in my class, there was a dad who like he stood up and he was like, he goes, that's one thing that like I hope never happens to my daughter, and like that the world can change for the better. And I was like, heck yeah, buddy. And then I cried. It was a really emotional, really
it sounds like a really somber, melancholic moment that you can look fondly back on. Yeah. And now you have a proud art piece somewhere. I don't have an artistic bone in my body.
I mean, you don't have very many bones in your body.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the skull's a little autistic, but I couldn't tell you. So, I was never very good at art. I used to, in notebooks, draw Kingdom Hearts inspired designs. So, like, you know, the hearts and like keyblades and stuff. But while those were fine for a child in elementary school, they never went anywhere.
Right.
So, yeah, I think we've learned a lot here about SynderWitch. But is there anything else that you would like to tell us before we end? Anything at all?
I like video games, and
we got that.
I don't know. I'm nothing special, so I'm just here vibing, being a little witch.
Okay, so we don't really have much else to add after this. So this sounds like a fantastic point to finish the last part, the last segment of the interview. SynderWitch, we've talked about where people can find you off stream in your Discord and on Twitter. Do you have any closing words?
Thanks for having me here in Cleveland, Ohio.
And now that you've been here, a part of you will never leave.
Here, you want some hair, Goopy?
Not really.
If you say so.
Hey,
it's magically intertwined. You know, it's fine.
No,
I don't share my magic. It's okay.
No, I mean, look, hair magic is fine. Hair, like, what am I going to do with hair?
Use it for its magical properties. Duh.
Like, are you offering me some kind of witch's boon?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
You turned it down, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. I see.
Oh my god. Blatus, we're not making clones here.
2 goblins instead of 1. It's an elf thing to give somebody hair. I might be like that. I don't know.
Would too much. Goopy would enjoy a clone of me a little too much. No thanks.
Maybe. It's hard to explain, but I enjoy the way humans taste.
Well, conveniently, I'm not close enough to a human anymore to taste like a human.
I don't know. Maybe the texture would be similar. Anyway, so after this here, now in the dungeons of Cleveland, Ohio, we do get a lot of monsters and, you know, foolish treasure hunters running into the dungeons. So for any of your bone needs in the future, I will send them your way.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll make sure to spit them out once I'm done.
Again, I appreciate that.
Of course. I do have a question. Our past interviewee, Spectre, he was looking for a way to travel back in time. Do you have any time travel powers?
I have a little bit of time travel spell knowledge. I have never personally...
Should I just put you down as a no?
Yeah, just to be on the safe side. I wouldn't want to, like, send your past interviewee into the past for them to cause any irreparable damage to the timeline.
Well, it was worth trying, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here on the Goop Show. This has been SynderWitchVT. You can find her at SynderWitchVT on Twitch, Twitter, and on her Discord by going to her channel and type again !Discord.
Yes.
So, all right.
Don't die.
Oh no, I'm fine. I just feel like my little slime throat closing up a little.
That means you need to hydrate, Goop.
I'm working on it. Ugh.
Goop, you're so small.
Oh yeah, that happens. Yeah, that happens a lot. I have this.
Oh no, I don't want to hydrate.
I have the. You know, please have a drink. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't offer earlier, but please have a drink.
Oh what?
Oh man. Yeah. Here is your goblin-sized boba. And by goblin-sized, I mean is the size of a fully grown goblin, not the size a goblin would drink.
That is amazing. I love that. That's the best in the world. Bird.
One of them being said in the past was how they got there to be a past interviewee. And you never know. We might get someone time traveling here to be interviewed instead of someone else. We'll just have to find out one day in the future. But that has been the interview for our segment here. Closing statement, Synder, go follow her. Please follow the channels. You know.
You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just a little nobody.
Yeah, no, go follow her channel, subscribe to her channel, join the Patreon, do the throne stuff on both of our channels, thank you. And now back to your regularly scheduled Goblin programming.
Goodbye, lie.
Yeah.